Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 things that you do wrong in Valorant. For veteran players, these might seem a bit obvious, but a lot of newer players tend to overlook these ideas and concepts. Even small improvements in these areas of your play will lead to more round wins, which will of course lead you to winning more games. So the first concept is to use your abilities with a purpose. A lot of times players will blindly throw abilities out in the hopes that they get a kill. These abilities could be used much more efficiently for doing things like clearing out hard to check spots or common spots that the enemy will like to play. So while you could easily throw a nade like this into hookah and hope you hit someone playing behind this box, your grenade would be far more useful clearing out commonly played spots that are hard to get through. Throwing your nade in this cubby, for example, forces the person playing in cubby to jump out into your line of sight where you will have an easy shot on them. This same concept can be applied to different agents and different maps as well. For another example, you can use Breach's Aftershock to clear out deep corners, such as this mailroom corner on Split. So in general, you should be using abilities with the idea of not just getting kills, but forcing the enemy into awkward positions or out of certain areas. Another important idea to keep in mind is to make sure you use your abilities and utility while you are safe. Something that I see done pretty often is people leaving their cover to peek and throw abilities out, or just in general using abilities while standing in the open. Standing in the open like this and throwing your abilities out makes you a very vulnerable target, as there is a required amount of time to pull out your gun to be able to shoot again, in addition to the animation time of the ability itself. You could just as easily throw your abilities behind cover and bounce it off of a wall to accomplish the same idea. Once you start taking into consideration where you are using your abilities from, this should greatly reduce the amount of times that you die with an ability in your hands instead of your gun. The next thing that a lot of newer players seem to undervalue is a good plant spot for the spike. A lot of people, when they are attacking, resort to plant spots like behind the generator here, as it's a very protected place to plant, and while it isn't necessary sometimes, there are certainly situations where you have cleared out sight and you have the choice of where you want to plant. So when you do have that choice of where you want to plant, you should be planting the spike in a spot that allows for easy coverage from post-plant positions. So for example, right here behind generator, although it is a safe spot to plant, once the bomb is down, the only place you can really peek to check it once it starts being diffused is from wine right here. If you're playing in A main right here, for example, you wouldn't be able to safely peek it, as you have to clear all these other angles before you finally get to check the bomb. Same thing with this spot from tree room. You have to basically fully push out of tree room to be able to check if the bomb is being diffused. So if you have the site secured, you should consider planting in a spot like in front of this box. The bomb being in front of the box, for example, is a much better spot for post-plant positions, as it allows a teammate to play on this side of a main, where they can then safely peek like this to check if the bomb is being diffused. You can have a teammate all the way in cat who can check if the bomb is being diffused. And if you have a teammate in tree room as well, all of these places have angles to check on the bomb. Spots like these will give your team more options for post-plant positioning, and in return will leave the enemies guessing which spots you might be playing. Another mistake that a lot of new players make is dry peeking, especially into people with operators. Dry peeking is when you are peeking an angle without using any sort of utility, such as a flash, and having no information of where the enemy might be playing. A lot of people think they can out-aim someone holding an angle with an op, and even if that is the case, it is just a lot easier and safer to peek after using some sort of utility, such as a flash. Using some sort of flash also forces players who are hit by it to give up the angle, helping you establish control of that part of the map. If you are forced at a spot where you don't have any utility but you still need to challenge the player with the op, what you can do is jiggle peek or do a air strafe peek like I do here to try and bait the shot. You all with the op. In a perfect world, you can have a teammate ready to trade off this shot, as the operator can't shoot again right away. The last thing I'm going to be talking about is reload timings and when you should be reloading. A lot of new players fall into the habit of reloading after every single kill, and while there are times where it's possible to reload after a kill, there are definitely situations where you're going to want to wait in the case of an enemy follow-up, or to try and avoid giving the enemies information because of the reloading sound cue. You always want to reload in positions where you know the enemy can't push you, And in 1v1 situations, especially if you have 15 or more bullets left, you almost never want to be reloading. This will give the enemy a sound cue that basically says, hey, push me, I'm not ready to shoot my gun yet. In this example here on Split, I get the first kill, wait to reload because I'm in a not safe position, which allows me to then get the kill on the Cypher, and I once again wait to reload until I clear top ramp. So I hope you guys learned something new from this video. If you did and you want to see more Valorant videos and guides like this, then I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button.